silence between us. Dave stood in front of the canned goods aisle at Patterson's grocery, his mind tangled between the shopping list, the parent-teacher meeting scheduled for Monday, and what to make for dinner. A woman he had never seen before walked toward him, her eyes calm and certain. "I know you, Dave Miller." Not a friendly introduction, not a mistake. She knew his name. She knew Lily loved drawing sunflowers. She knew he picked his daughter up at 3:15 every afternoon. Dave lived almost invisibly in this town. So how did she know him? The alarm went off at 6:30 on Friday morning. Dave reached over and turned it off before it could wake Lily. He sat on the edge of the bed for a moment, staring at the floor. The house was quiet. It had been quiet for 3 years now. He stood up, pulled on his jeans, and walked down the hallway to his daughter's room. Lily was still asleep, curled under her blanket with her dark hair spread across the pillow. Dave knocked lightly on the doorframe. She stirred but did not open her eyes. He walked in and sat on the edge of her bed, gently shaking her shoulder. "Time to get up, kiddo." She groaned and rolled over, pulling the blanket tighter. Dave smiled faintly. "Come on, breakfast in 10 minutes." He went downstairs and started making toast and scrambled eggs. The kitchen was small and clean, everything in its place. He moved through the routine without thinking. Pour the orange juice. Set the plates on the table. Call Lily down again when she did not appear. She came down eventually, still half asleep, her backpack slung over one shoulder. They ate in silence, the sound of forks on plates filling the space between them. Dave drove her to school in his old Honda. Lily stared out the window, watching the autumn leaves drift across the road. He pulled up to the curb in front of Millbrook Elementary, and she climbed out without a word. "Have a good day," Dave said. She nodded and walked toward the building, her shoulders slightly hunched. He watched her disappear through the front doors before pulling back into traffic. At the office, Dave sat at his desk and opened the same spreadsheet he had been working on for the past 2 weeks. He was an accountant for a local construction company, tracking expenses and invoices for projects that all looked the same to him. The work was steady and predictable. It required no creativity and very little thought. He liked it that way. His phone rang just before lunch. It was the school. Lily had forgotten her art supplies. Again, Dave sighed and told them he would bring them by. He drove home, found the small bag of pencils and sketchbooks on the kitchen counter, and drove back to the school. The secretary thanked him and took the bag. Dave returned to the office and finished his day without speaking to anyone. At 3:15, he was back in the school parking lot waiting. Lily came out with a group of other kids, but she walked alone to the car. That night, they sat at the dining table and ate spaghetti. Dave asked how her day was. Lily said it was fine. He asked if she had any homework. She said a little. They finished eating, and she went upstairs to her room. Dave cleaned the dishes, wiped down the counters, and sat on the couch with the television on. He was not watching it. He was just sitting there, letting the noise fill the silence. He thought about Jessica sometimes, though he tried not to. She had been the one who filled the house with sound. She sang while she cooked. She laughed at things that were not particularly funny. She painted with Lily at the kitchen table, both of them covered in watercolor stains. The house had felt alive then. Now it felt like a place where people slept and ate and waited for the day to end. The memory came back without warning, the way it always did. Jessica standing in the driveway, waving as she pulled out in her car. She was going to pick up groceries. It was a Saturday afternoon. Lily was inside watching cartoons. Dave was mowing the lawn. 2 hours later, a police officer was at the door. A truck had lost control on the highway. Jessica's car had been hit head-on. She was taken to the hospital, but she did not make it. Dave had driven there as fast as he could, Lily strapped into the back seat, silent and confused. By the time they arrived, it was over. A nurse with brown hair had met him in the hallway outside the emergency room. She had tried to console him, her voice soft and steady, but Dave could not hear her. He could not hear anything. The world had gone silent, and it had stayed that way ever since. He did not remember much about that night. He remembered the fluorescent lights. He remembered the smell of disinfectant. He remembered the nurse's face, though only barely. She had looked at him with something close to guilt, as if she believed she should have been able to do more. But there was nothing anyone could have done. Jessica was gone, and Dave was left standing in a hospital hallway with a 6-year-old daughter who did not understand why her mother was not coming home. 3 years later, he still did not know how to explain it to her. So he did not try. He just kept the house quiet and the routine steady, and he told himself that was enough. Saturday morning, Dave took Lily to Patterson's grocery. It was a small store on Main Street, the kind of place where everyone knew everyone. Mrs. Patterson stood behind the register, chatting with customers as she rang up their purchases. Dave grabbed a card and walked down the aisles, checking items off the list he had written on the back of an envelope. Lily trailed behind him, her hands in her jacket pockets. She did not ask for anything. She never did. Dave picked up bread, milk, eggs, and a box of cereal. He was standing in front of the canned goods, trying to decide between tomato sauce and diced tomatoes, when he felt someone watching him. He looked up and saw a woman standing a few feet away, her arms folded, her eyes fixed on him. She was in her mid-30s with brown hair pulled back into a ponytail. She wore jeans and a gray sweater. There was something familiar about her, though Dave could not place it. She took a step closer, her expression calm but intent. "I know you, Dave Miller," she said. Her voice was quiet but certain. Dave stared at her. He did not recognize her face. He glanced down at Lily, who was looking at the woman with mild curiosity. "I'm sorry," Dave said. "Do we know each other?" The woman smiled faintly, though it did not reach her eyes. "Not exactly," she said. "But I know Lily loves to draw. Sunflowers, right? Just like Jessica used to." Dave felt something cold settle in his chest. He stepped in front of Lily, instinctively putting himself between her and the stranger. "How do you know that?" he asked. His voice was sharper than he intended. The woman's smile faded. "I'm Emma Collins," she said. "I just moved back to Millbrook. I'm the new art teacher at the elementary school. I saw Lily's file when I started last week." Dave relaxed slightly, though his unease did not go away. "Right," he said. "Lily mentioned a new teacher." Emma nodded. She looked down at Lily, who was still watching her with wide eyes. "You're very talented," Emma said gently. "I'm looking forward to seeing more of your work." Lily did not respond, but she gave a small nod. Emma looked back at Dave, and for a moment, something flickered in her expression, regret, maybe, or something heavier. "I should let you get back to your shopping," she said. "It was nice to meet you both." She turned and walked toward the front of the store, her footsteps soft on the linoleum floor. Dave stood there holding a can of tomato sauce, his mind racing. Lily tugged on his sleeve. "Is she really my teacher?" she asked. Dave nodded slowly. "Yeah," he said. "I think so." He put the can in the cart and finished his shopping quickly, avoiding eye contact with anyone. When they reached the register, Mrs. Patterson smiled at him. "You doing all right, Dave?" she asked. He nodded and paid in cash. On the drive home, Lily was quieter than usual. Dave glanced at her in the rearview mirror. "You okay?" he asked. She nodded. "She seems nice," Lily said. Dave did not respond. He did not know what to say. Emma Collins had known things she should not have known, and the way she had looked at him, like she was carrying something she wanted to say but could not, left him deeply unsettled. That night, after Lily went to bed, Dave sat at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee he did not drink. He thought about the woman in the grocery store. He thought about the way she had said Jessica's name, like she had known her. But that was impossible. Emma had said she was new to town. So, how did she know about the sunflowers? How did she know anything? He tried to push the thoughts away, but they stayed with him through the weekend. By Monday morning, he was tired and distracted. He dropped Lily off at school and went to work, but he could not focus. At lunch, his coworker Tom stopped by his desk. "You look like hell," Tom said. Dave rubbed his eyes. "Just tired," he said. Tom leaned against the desk, arms crossed. "You ever think about getting out more? Meeting people?" Dave shook his head. "I'm fine." Tom sighed. "You're not fine, man. You're just surviving. There's a difference." Dave did not argue. Tom was right, but that did not mean Dave knew how to fix it. He had been surviving for 3 years, and it had become the only thing he knew how to do. Monday afternoon, Lily came home from school with a smile on her face. It was such a rare sight that Dave almost did not recognize it. She dropped her backpack on the floor and looked up at him. "Miss Collins is really good at drawing, Dad," she said. "She showed us how to draw sunflowers today, just like Mom used to." Dave felt his chest tighten. "That's great, kiddo," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. Lily pulled a piece of paper from her backpack and held it up. It was a drawing of a sunflower, the petals bright yellow, the center dark and detailed. It was better than anything she had drawn before. "Miss Collins helped me with the shading," Lily said. She said Mom would be proud. Dave took the drawing and stared at it. He did not know what to say. Emma Collins was not just a random new teacher. She had inserted herself into their lives in a way that felt deliberate, and Dave did not know why. He taped the drawing to the refrigerator and told Lily to wash up for dinner. She ran upstairs, still smiling. Dave stood in the kitchen, staring at the sunflower, and felt the walls of his carefully controlled life starting to crack. The following Thursday, there was a parent-teacher meeting at the school. Dave had almost forgotten about it until the reminder email came through that morning. He did not want to go, but he knew he had to. He arrived at the school just after 6 and followed the signs to the gymnasium where tables had been set up for each teacher. He found the one labeled Art, Miss Collins, and sat down in the folding chair across from her. Emma looked up and smiled. "Mr. Miller," she said. "Thank you for coming." She had a folder in front of her with Lily's name on it. Dave nodded but said nothing. Emma opened the folder and pulled out several of Lily's drawings. "She's very talented," Emma said, "but I'm sure you already know that." Dave looked at the drawings. Most of them were sunflowers, but there were a few others. A house, a tree, a woman with dark hair standing in a kitchen. "Jessica." Emma noticed where his eyes had landed. "She talks about her mother sometimes," Emma said quietly. "In class, when the other kids talk about their families." Dave looked up at her. "What does she say?" Emma met his eyes. "She says her mom used to paint with her, that she misses her." Dave felt his throat tighten. He looked away. "I don't know what you want me to say," he said. Emma shook her head. "I don't want you to say anything," she said. "I just wanted you to know." There was a long silence. Emma folded her hands on the table. "Mr. Miller," she said, "there's something I need to tell you, and I'm not sure how to say it." Dave looked at her, his expression guarded. "Then just say it," he said. Emma took a breath. "I was a nurse at the hospital the night Jessica died," she said. "I was there when they brought her in. I was there when she passed." Dave felt the air leave his lungs. He stared at Emma, his mind struggling to process what she had just said. "What?" he said. Emma's eyes were steady, but there was pain in them. "I tried to save her," she said. "We all did, but it was too late. And before she died, she said something. She asked me to tell you something, but I didn't have the courage to do it then. I didn't even know if I'd ever see you again." Dave's hands were shaking. "What did she say?" he asked. Emma looked down at the table. She said, "Tell Dave not to let Lily grow up in silence. Tell him love is still there." The words hit Dave like a physical blow. He stood up, his chair scraping loudly against the gym floor. "I have to go," he said. Emma stood as well. "I'm sorry," she said. "I should have told you sooner. I just didn't know how." Dave walked out of the gymnasium without looking back. He got in his car and sat in the parking lot, his hands gripping the steering wheel. Jessica's last words. She had left him a message, and he had never heard it. For 3 years, he had been living in silence, telling himself it was enough. But it was not what she had wanted. It was not what Lily needed. He drove home and found Lily sitting on the couch watching television. She looked up when he came in. "How was the meeting?" she asked. Dave sat down next to her. "It was fine," he said. "Miss Collins says you're doing really well." Lily smiled a little. Dave put his arm around her and pulled her close. She rested her head on his shoulder, and for the first time in a long time, Dave felt something other than numbness. He felt afraid, because Emma Collins had just told him the truth, and now he had to decide what to do with it. The week after the parent-teacher meeting, Dave saw Emma twice. Once when he dropped Lily off at school, and once when he picked her up. Both times, Emma was standing near the entrance, talking to other parents or students. She noticed Dave, but did not approach him. He was grateful for that. He did not know what he would say to her if she did. Lily, on the other hand, could not stop talking about her art teacher. At dinner on Tuesday, she told Dave that Miss Collins had shown the class how to mix colors to make new shades. On Wednesday, she said Miss Collins had complimented her drawing of a tree. On Thursday, she came home with a flyer for an after-school art club that would start the following week. "Can I join, Dad?" Lily asked, holding the paper out to him. Dave took the flyer and read it. The club would meet every Tuesday and Thursday from 3:30 to 4:30. It was free, organized by Miss Collins. Dave looked at Lily, who was watching him with hopeful eyes. He wanted to say no. He wanted to keep things the way they were, simple and controlled. But he could see how much this mattered to her. "Yeah," he said. "You can join." Lily's face lit up. She hugged him quickly and ran upstairs to her room. Dave stood in the kitchen holding the flyer and wondered if he had just made a mistake. Letting Emma further into their lives felt dangerous. But Lily was smiling again, and Dave had not seen her smile this much in years. He folded the flyer and put it on the refrigerator next to the sunflower drawing. The art club started the following Tuesday. Dave picked Lily up at 4:30 and found her standing outside the school with Emma. They were both laughing about something, and Lily was holding a painting of a sunset, the colors bright and uneven but full of life. Emma saw Dave and walked over. "She did great today," Emma said. "She's got a real eye for composition." Dave nodded. "Thanks," he said. He reached for Lily's hand, ready to leave, but Emma spoke again. "Mr. Miller," she said. "I just wanted to say I'm glad Lily's in the club. I think it's good for her. Art can be a way to process things. You know, feelings that are hard to talk about." Dave looked at her, unsure how to respond. Emma smiled gently. "Anyway," she said, "I'll see you Thursday." She turned.